Hi, my name is Drew Swanhaugen, and I work within the graduate school on the Twin Cities campus. And I'm here today with Maggie Kubak to discuss networking for introverts. Maggie, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm a senior career counselor working for career services at the University of Minnesota. I'm delighted to be here today.
Great, thank you, Maggie. So I just have a few questions for Maggie, and we'll jump into it. So Maggie, what is networking for graduate students, and why do we need to do it?
Yeah, great question, Drew. You know, networking, very succinctly, it's the act of making contacts and exchanging information with people or groups or organizations for the purpose of creating mutually beneficial relationships. There are generally two reasons that we do it. One is gathering information, and the other is for making contacts or developing leads that will help us moving forward. And this is all specifically usually career related. I have a few really favorite mantras about networking, and they include be a friend before you need one, seek advice, not help. And the reason those two are super important is that creating relationships is the first step, and maintaining those relationships is the essential next step. Another way to think about networking is act like a host, not a guest. Welcome others into your community and your sphere instead of waiting for them to treat you as a guest. And finally, one of my favorites is good networking is the kind that actually works. Bad networking is the practice that annoys people. That's not networking. That's not a good strategy. So we're going to talk about a few ways to make sure you're doing it in a way that feels really good and positive to you. And of course, then to the people you're networking with as well. And one thing that's just super important for introverts is to remember to do this in a way that really honors who you are. Don't try to be anyone else. Be the very best introverted graduate student and promising potential or promising professional that you are. We'll talk a little bit more about that.
Fabulous. And you maybe already have answered this next question, but what would you consider are the major components and goals of networking while in graduate school?
Yeah, great. You know, in graduate school, I think as with any networking, generally speaking, the goals are to gather information, no matter what it's about. It could be about an individual career. It could be about the place that your contact is working. It could be about job search strategies. So it's gathering information and then developing relationships that may lead to contacts and opportunities moving forward. And one of the things you always want to keep in mind is what is the setting in which you're networking, who is the audience, and what is your objective. Those three pieces of information will guide how you approach the practice.
Great. And one more question, kind of the introvert question to those relationships. So as introverts, reaching out and building those relationships can be the really daunting and kind of intimidating aspect of networking. And with COVID, that kind of, it complicates things as well. Can you share some kind of specific strategies that might help for introverts?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one of the differences between introverts and extroverts is that introverts think before they speak. And so in terms of networking, a couple of approaches that work for introverts are to prepare, research the people that you're networking with in advance of the conversation. So you feel that you have some information going into this conversation. Additionally, send an email introduction first. Make sure that you follow up, but sending an email allows you to think about it in advance. You don't have to speak off the cuff with someone you don't know. That might be a little bit more comfortable. Another hallmark of introversion is that we don't really like being the center of attention, and we prefer one-on-one relationships. And so strategies there include starting networking with a warm relationship. So use the people that you already know. Start by asking faculty advisors or family friends or colleagues. Start by asking them if they know others that you might want to connect with for whatever your networking reason is. Additionally, invite one person to join you for coffee instead of maybe attending a large networking event where you just might not feel quite as comfortable. Additionally, do it online. Use Twitter, use LinkedIn. Another difference between introverts and extroverts is that we need time alone to recharge. So if you're going to perhaps a networking event, a large networking event, decide in advance, what's my limit for today? How many people am I going to feel comfortable reaching out to? Maybe that's 2, maybe you're going to draw the line at 3. And then give yourself permission to leave the event. You know, you've met your goals, good for you. You've done it in a way that works for you. So the bottom line is do what's comfortable for you. You know, at this point in life, probably what are real stressors for you, ways in which and times in which you really shine and are your best self. So strategize ways to be that best self in this practice of networking. A couple of other thoughts are be patient. You know, networking takes time. Plan on this being a months long and really years long process. Focus on the relationships rather than your resume. This is really about authentic relationships with people that you're really curious about, possibly admire, hope you can learn from. And of course, these are mutually beneficial relationships. So you want to give back when you can. You want to follow up always. So stay in touch with the people that you've begun relationships with. You want to create those relationships and then maintain them. How do you do that? Well, any way you can think of, really. You've read a great article and you thought of them. Let them know that. Send them an email. I just thought of you this week. I read this great article. If you haven't seen it, here's the citation. You might ask, how did your kid do in that softball tournament? Another email might be, I just finished this project, super excited about it, wanted to let you know about it. One more option, I'm going to the XYZ conference next week. Will you be there? Let's have coffee. So you're just trying to maintain those relationships. The bottom line is be respectful, be curious, be your best self in this relationship building practice.
Awesome. Thank you, Maggie. Yeah, as a fellow introvert, these are great reminders for advice. So thank you very much for being here today, and thank you all for listening. Take care.
Bye, everyone.